Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have these two mini disc players. So they are very similar but slightly different, and actually all the differences are in the software, which we will check out in a minute. And as you can see, just slight and subtle differences between the two. So this one is the R30 and this one is the R35. Apparently this one came out in 97, at the end of 97, and this one came out at the end of 98. So very heavy players and quite big compared to the modern players or the latest generations of mini disc players that we are all familiar with. This old one does not have any mark on it, so it works intermittently. So we have to check it out and see what's the problem. This one, on the other hand, though it looks very beaten, as you can see, there are some screws that are missing, but it still works perfectly. So let's check them out. So the first thing I noticed with this one is when I put the power jack in, and as you can see, it turned on, says no disc. So it is not inserting all the way. And compared to this one, for example, so what I think happened is that this tip, this yellow tip, has been stuck inside of from another charger. So let's see if we can get that out. Okay, so this turns out to be very tricky actually, because there's also the spring that makes the contact with the negative lead of the power adapter. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to take this apart also. Let's just check it out. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be any damage whatsoever. Let's see if I can see it. Because pushing it out would be much easier than pulling it out. Okay, so I have to take this out of here. Then I can do something about it. So now what I suspect is that I can pull this thing out. Yes. Okay, so apparently this is separate. Okay. Now finally I have access to the piece. And there it is. So this has been stuck in the power jack, in that, my friends, is actually this thing. So the first time I've seen this happen. And now we put things the way they were. So I think this one goes first. Alright, so there we go. And we didn't ruin the jack too much. Alright, so you always make sure to clean the flux after soldering, because otherwise it's actually it's very corrosive. Alright, and while we are at it, because we have it open, we can grease some of these mechanical stuff. Okay, so we have lots of ribbon cables, and we need to put some fresh grease right there. Alright, so these ribbon cables are basically an exercise in patience, so we need to be kind of careful with those. Other than that, very straightforward. Alright, everyone, so I finally got it working, and actually the thing that was the problem with it, which I'll just show you. So after fixing this problem, of course, there was still the same problem, kind of. It was working sometimes, sometimes not. And actually the problem turned out to be, so there's these switches and you have three of them. So there's this white one, which you can see. There's this black one right there, and one just right under it. I didn't actually have contact cleaner, so I just used some 90% alcohol. I put a few drips on the contacts, and now it's working perfectly. And even when I move it and everything, it doesn't just shut down for no reason anymore. So I also need to do the same thing to this wheel, which is not tracking correctly. But other than that, now this one is working perfectly. And just one thing that I wanted to show you concerning the differences between this one and this one. One way to actually verify, you can actually put these mini disc players and recorders, of course, into what is called a test mode. For the latest generations of mini discs, you can do it through software, basically through it's a combination of buttons, which you can do while holding another button. I don't remember the exact combination. I will put a screenshot on the screen. But on this one, there's only one way, which is a hardware, you could say hardware way, which is just to solder these 2 points right here. You can find all of these in the service manual, which you can find online. So you just solder these two. When you power it on, it will first of all show you the version that it's running of the software. And of course, you can also do lots of modifications. You can, for example, lower or increase the intensity of the diode that's of the laser that's emitting the laser light, and lots of other modifications. Some things that I don't quite entirely understand concerning sound and compression and stuff like that. Most of that you don't actually want to mess with unless you know what you're doing. But for our purposes, I will just be demonstrating and showing you the version of this software that's running on this one, which is the R30, and we're gonna compare it to the version which is running on the R35. And there we go, version 160. And also for example, one thing you can do while in test mode, you can move the laser assembly. So if you can see, at least for example, you can get an idea if your laser assembly is working or not. And that's just one of the things that you can do while in test mode. Alright, so this is the second one. So this is the R35. And when we bridge those two terminals, we have it in test mode, and as you can see, this one is 170. So the other one is 160, and this one is 170. Just one last thing I forgot to mention is the headphones that came with the this one came with the R30, and as you can see, it has this special connector. The way I know that these, at least these particular headphones, actually came back in the day with this mini disc player is that they are also branded Sony and mini disc. Alright, so we got this one fixed. This one was already working, of course. This one actually just needs some cleaning. I also actually got another problem with this one, which is after I put it in test mode, it refused to come out of test mode. So if you don't actually have any reason to put it into test mode, I guess that you probably should not. That's gonna be a problem for another day. Other than that, I'm also gonna try to upgrade this battery pack. So basically I'm gonna change the cell that's on the inside. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. At least we fixed some things. If this was useful, please leave a like, it always helps. Other than that, you can subscribe. And until next time, this was the Electron Age. Bye.